So we're out in the shed today and I am going to start on this thing, the Z. Now I was going to get it registered and use it as a daily, but I decided that it's not worth it. I was going to have to spend probably about $1,000 to get it to where it needed to be to pass all the inspections. And then I thought, you know what, the whole idea of this car, actually after talking to a friend, he helped convince me of this. The whole idea of this car is that I'm going to drive it hard and, you know, run into people run into me, just have a seat time car. So it is going to get bashed up, which means it's not going to be a daily drivable car anyway. So it would be a waste of time and a waste of money. So we are going to skip past all the things that I have to do to get it registered and go straight into the drift car stuff. You might remember when I pulled all this stuff out, we were having trouble getting the rear alignment sorted, and I got it close enough with the adjustable arms, but I'm still not happy with it. Something's still amiss, so I went and bought myself another subframe. So today's job is to get the car up in the air and pull the whole entire subframe out, diff, everything, because I've got to take the knuckles off to do the hydro handbrake, calipers, I've got to do the diff brace. There's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to happen in that area anyway. I think it's going to be easy just to pull the whole subframe, rear subframe assembly out and go from there. So let's rip into that. I think I might have actually found something. Here, that gap in between the lower arm and this bend around part of the subframe looks a lot closer than that side. So maybe this has twisted in that way, which would definitely change some of the alignment stuff. So if I hold that, put that flat and look down on that, you see a little gap. Come around this side, hold that down, look down, there's a much bigger gap there. Maybe that is it. Hope so. Just going to check if this actually still lines up with the bolts, because I'm pretty sure this is bent. So if this doesn't go in now, then we've got bigger problems. We are good. She went in beautifully. So looks like, hopefully, fingers crossed, this is fixed. The new one is in with majority of the arms hanging, ready for the knuckles to go in. But before I do that, the big job is to weld on the bracket here somewhere for the other caliper. So I'm going to get all that stuff out and start working out how to do this. So I've got calipers, second set of rear calipers. These brakes are just massive, and these are the weld on brackets. So they go like that, and you weld them puppies on. So it's a fair bit of a gap there. Now I have very little experience welding aluminium, so I've taken the hub completely apart, and you bolt this bit on here and then bolts on down there, but mine's not quite lining up, so I need to do some clearancing, which is good because then I can get a closer weld. So I'm going to work that out, cut this down or grind it down, and then I'll clean the crap out of this. Alright, just had to take a bit off there and up in there, and now she bolts in. So I'll clean up the actual knuckle, and then I think I might heat it up, that's a thing I'm pretty sure, and start tacking it in there. Gave it a bit of a wire wheel, all nice and clean. I think I've got some acetone. I'll wipe it down and I'll give this a go. I have very little experience welding aluminium, but it's all thick stuff. I'm not going to blow it out anywhere, and I'm not going to warp it. So heat and filler rod. Let's see how we go. So a little update. Last night I started to weld up the knuckle with my setup. I realised pretty quickly it wasn't working very well. Mark came over and had a look and basically was the bearer of bad news that my MIG, though it's good for most things, it's not good enough for this. We couldn't get enough heat into this knuckle, and my skill level is almost zero. So I ended up actually taking it to my cousin's workshop and he's an engineering workshop, and he smashed it out for me, and they look absolutely wicked. So I'm putting them together. Got one fully back together. That's with the new welded on bracket and cut out the shield, so that's awesome. Now I'm just going to put together this one, so I get that back together, and then I'm going to hang the knuckles and put all the arms to it, and then I'm going to weld the diff, put the diff in, and that will be the whole rear end back together. Right, this side is all on, and I think it looks straight, so we won't really be able to tell until it's down on the ground, but this is our corner that we were struggling with. But new subframe, new knuckle, all new arms, so I can't see how it could still be bent. I'm working on this side, but I just bought, well, 2 days ago I bought something, a tool. I'm excited about this. Let me show you what it is. I actually seen this on Instagram. It's hard one-handed. The red box might give away what brand it is. It is a magnetic light. Right, that's the bad boy. It's actually awesome. Right, so put it on the hoist over there, run it underneath, and now we've got plenty of light where we need it. How good is that? We got both sides in, axles are in, all the arms are the same length roughly. Suspension's all in. I lowered it a tiny little bit. And everything's to 0 on the stock adjustment. So I'm going to weld that bad boy up. Welded. She's not pretty, but it's really hard to get down into the corners, so I made sure I put heaps in there. That should do the trick. So let's glue it back up, and I'll let it cool down, then glue it back up and put it back in the car. Right, that's on, but before it dries, I'm actually going to bolt this on because that goes there like that. So I'll bolt that on and let this dry, and it'll be ready to go in the car this afternoon. There's a lot of front end stuff. Lower control arms, then there's the bolt on knuckle, offset, not offset, just the rack spacers, tie rod, like offset extension bits, and I bought these secondhand upper camber arms. So got to get all that onto there. Honestly don't know where to start. I think I'm gonna take the lower control arm off first and do that, and then because the upper arm will be the easiest one to do. Yeah, I might unbolt the lower control arm, and then once that's off, maybe I can do the knuckle adapter and then put the new lower control arm in. The first one will take a bit, and then I'm sure the second time round will be way quicker. Right, so I got that out. There's heaps of good videos online, so I'm gonna get to putting this stuff in. Come to a bit of a standstill. I've got the lower control arm in. It's not bolted in, it's just sitting in there, but got to put on these knuckle adapters, but unfortunately they're slightly defected. This is what holds them in there, or the second bolt. As you can see, it's a perfect fit in here. That's obviously how it's designed. But on this one, the hole is too close and it sits on top. It doesn't actually, locate the way that it's supposed to, like that. I sent GK Tech a message. They're usually pretty good at replying, and I'm sure they'll sort it out. But it's a bummer because I was hoping to get at least this one side put in tonight. I'm back in the shed tonight and I'm stoked. I sent an email to GK Tech about that little defect, and they have posted another one for me, so that's perfect. We can now finish off this side, so let's get to it. Pretty much got this side fully in now. New tie rods, got the spacers on the rack, lower control arm, knuckles on. Yeah, so it's a good bit of gear. It looks pretty beefy, so pretty stoked with that. Just got to tighten everything up and then start on that side. Well, it's absolutely pissing down outside, so it's probably pretty loud in here for you guys, but the front end is now pretty much all in. So now I'm going to change the upper arms. It's got a fair bit of camber, but probably, I don't know, just to be guessing, maybe around what I want anyway, but we'll chuck the top ones in. And essentially, all of the arms are done. The rear end's done, the front end will be done, calipers are on. All I have to do is install the actual handbrake and run the line on the inside. And then we're getting really close. I might even do a cheeky test in the driveway since it's wet. I've got to put the diff back in that I welded up, and the shafts and a few bits and pieces. But potentially we could be driving it today. So let's keep hustling. Well, I've had some bad news. It's something that I expected or suspected, but hoped it wasn't. So the other day, ages ago when I had it pit passed, I drove it home, and on the way home, the clutch went straight to the floor and wasn't working while I was driving. So I managed to get it home into the shed. And I was hoping that it was the master cylinder, because that's easy to get to on the top, that had died. So I replaced that, bled it up, and it still felt a little bit weird. And I bled it again now, and we are leaking. And I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it's not leaking from the bleed nipple, it's leaking from up there. So my fear was true. It is the slave cylinder, and in these, it's internal, not external. So I have to pull the gearbox out. All right. Well, that's tonight's job. I'm not going to film this because I just want to smash it out, but the gearbox has to come out. Yeah.